how much do you think is due to the fact that, a lot of Americans are upset about immigration policy in general? Like, what is your thoughts on, because there's a difference between the enforcement of immigration policy and then how Americans view immigration. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
So then how would you maybe differentiate your opinions on like the enforcement aspect of how we've been seeing the administration implement the enforcement versus what are your thoughts on, people complain that Biden was letting too many people in. Like, what are your response to any of those types of perspectives?
Well, personally, I don't think there is such a thing as too many because there's a whole lot of room in this country. Um, I don't
I
know
think
what
some
the
people
exact numbers are right now, but it has Trump even reached the numbers that Obama and no, it's not even close. That Obama and Biden deported. They just did it quietly behind the scenes. Um, and I don't agree with that either, but they weren't, you didn't see kids in zip ties. You didn't see helicopters landing on apartment buildings and, people being shot in the street the way they are now. So the enforcement of this forced removal and that they're waiting for people at their hearings. They're waiting for people in courthouses. They're picking people up at their job sites. The entire storyline is we're getting rid of criminals, but they're not going after criminals. They're going after everyday people. So a lot of these people don't, are fully legal. They've done everything right. And then even the people that they haven't, the people who've overstayed visas or things like that, I don't get how anyone could think that the response we're seeing is appropriate on any level.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to be of the opinion that people should be allowed in, that we do have room. But I do hear the other arguments that people make. I mean, Eric Adams would be an example in New York City, the mayor that's saying, we're putting too much strain on the social services that we have by having too many people come into the city. And I think that is a rational viewpoint. I think there is a real discussion to have in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I hear the concerns that people have. And I will say this, if I grew up where they grew up and received all the messaging and images and the narratives that they had received, I'm sure I would feel exactly the same way. Where they see an issue, I don't necessarily see the same issue or an issue at all where they may see one. They may see an issue where I don't see one. I may see an issue where they don't see one. Um, and a lot of that is based on, what information is available to each of us or what information is has been had. Um, because even if the same information is available to two people, they may not receive it the same way. But I do understand people's concerns about safety and being able to provide for their families. I get that because I want those things too. I think we all want those things. Um, I think that's the easiest thing that we can all agree on is that we all want those things. What those things look like and how we get there, that's where things may diverge. And those strategies for meeting all those needs that we all seem to share are based on our worldview. So when I hear someone say, you know, uh, that immigrants are this and this and that, and they list off all these horrible things, well, in my experience, the immigrants that I know, that's not true. And the people that I know who are or are not immigrants or from somewhere else or who don't look like me or what have you, maybe a different religion, I don't see any group where a large enough portion of that group represents such a threat to any one issue that would warrant targeting that entire group for, protection from them, whatever that might be, whether it's their sexual orientation or their race or their religion or where they come from or whether or not they're here legally.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely heard a lot of different perspectives from those who are, supportive of the current administration's policies, also in regards to immigration law. I've had a lot of these arguments going back to high school. So I've definitely heard people talk about what they call legal immigration. And that is such a very vague concept because there are so many immigration laws that it's very complex.
Right.
So I wish there was more actual discussion on those who support, let's have as many people as we can from other countries come in to, let's have zero people come into the country. So
Right.
I think that we need to have more discussion about it because it is a complicated subject.
Absolutely. And the people that I have had conversations with whose opinions vastly differ from my own, um, are have always been surprised when I've asked them, "Do you know the pathways that are available to immigration?" And because they have this idea. It's been my experience where people convey kind of this idea: get in line like everybody else. This metaphorical, this proverbial line that they think exists. So they want people to get in line and do it the right way. And when I've explained that really there were only three pathways to immigration, which is marrying, I believe it's like familial. So like marrying someone who's a citizen, um, a, asylum, I believe, being a refugee, and the other one is somehow like starting a business, I think. And so that's why you see a lot of very small businesses that are owned by immigrants because those are pathways to immigration. And then you see families and so they they seem to be coming from a point of view where they don't even understand what the pathways are for immigration.